Hello, everybody. Bob Brisky here with Pinnacle Financial Services. Welcome to our presentation. Today, I'm going to discuss the 2025 CMS proposed rule. I'm sure many of you have heard about this. So let's jump right into it. So quick agenda, we're going to talk about what the proposed rule is, what is it addressing, how to comment on this. We definitely want people, agents, to be commenting, as the more comments we can get out there, better likelihood that we can sort of stop this thing in its tracks. That'll be yet to be seen. But then what are the impacts to us, to the agents? How will this rule, if it went into effect the way it is today, how does it impact us? And then why should we all support NABIP? So those of you that are already members of NABIP, formerly NAHU, already know of all the great stuff advocacy-wise that NABIP does for us. They are actually in the trenches right now fighting against this rule for all of us in the industry. So really important to be partnering with organizations such as NABIP, who does a great job fighting for us. All right, so the proposed rule, although the comment period is currently underway, it is proposed rule. We can comment until January 5th, 2024. So really, we've got about another, 6 weeks or so. We can still comment on that. Then there's going to be a final rule that'll come into effect February, March. Usually we get these every year. You know, you've seen these the last couple of years, these proposed rules turned into final rules, which we had to deal with. So a couple of years ago, we had the telephone recordings. Remember, that sort of smacked us in the face right before AEP, and it was sort of left upon us as agents and agencies and FMOs to say, hey, how are we going to do this? Last year, it was a big battle with the TPMO, the third-party marketing organizations. Could you even, sort of buy leads and manage leads, and how that was all going to work? So, we've seen the rules the last couple of years. This new one, we definitely don't want to have it, go into effect the way it is. It's going to affect compensation. So I think that's probably a pretty important thing to consider for all of us independent business people, right? Medicare, whether you're a Medicare agent, whether you're an agency owner, all of this is very important. So let's move forward. So talking about HRA fees. So those of you already selling Medicare Advantage, you know what HRAs are. You do those at the end of typically an enrollment. The individual carrier will typically compensate you somewhere around, say, $50 to $200, depends on the company. And that information is pretty pertinent to the insurance company. They want you to get that HRA done because it gives them a little bit of insight on your client, what is important to them as far as the policy benefits, what kind of conditions they may have, and those types of things. A little snapshot of your client, always good. Those reimbursements be gone. Put a fork in HRA fees. Admin overrides. So admin fees are what we call overrides. That's what impacts agencies. So if you work with an agency, that's what would impact an FMO. So if you're working with an FMO, so the admin fees, and remember the agencies and agents the agencies and the FMOs that you work with. We're going to go into a little bit, but there's a lot of things that are given from those organizations that you are able to take advantage of to grow your business and be successful and help your clients, and all the good things that come along with those types of services, such as enrollment platforms, right? Are you using Connecture, Sunfire to help you with your business, right? If you're working through an agency or an FMO, odds are you're not paying for that, right? Well, if that was to change, how would that impact your business? Leads and marketing reimbursement, if you get any kind of assistance from your agencies or FMO now. How about contracting? We don't always think about that, but imagine if contracting was done directly to the carriers right now versus going through your agencies or your FMOs. I mean, they're not even staffed up really to handle that. Let's be perfectly honest. How quickly could they do that? Get themselves trained up, manage all of that. We get into guidance and support your agencies that are out there that you work with, your FMOs, give a ton of training on all the different types of plans out there, whether they're national plans, whether they're regional plans. how to record phone calls, how to use all these types of services. How about things such as, LIS and dual eligibles, the SNP plans, all the different trainings that get done on those. If that was to go away tomorrow, these things that I'm talking about now, would that impact your business? Because the admin fees that are paid from carriers today to agencies and FMOs, that is how these types of services are provided, right? These are those support services that you are getting, taking advantage of, and helping you grow and support your business today. So how do we comment on all those things, right? So we can comment until January 5th, and I'm going to go to the page on our website, which you'll get a little more details on how to comment on this specific proposed rule. The whole thing is 486 pages of light reading. I would not say you do it at night, because it will not be easy to get through. But a lot of important stuff in there. You want to get into the nitty-gritty of it. The page that we have on our website actually has a summary of it, so some sort of the important stuff. So I would suggest maybe you go to our 2025 proposed final rule page on our website, which is pfsinsurance.com. And you go out there and you see the bullet points and all the important stuff that is being suggested out there by CMS. And if CMS suggested and then they go forward with it the way it is, it's going to impact our business greatly. And it's going to trickle down to our clients. And we're going to talk how that can happen as well. All right, so we want to know, what do we want to know when we're submitting comments to CMS? First thing I'd like to say is do not assume. You know what happens there when we're assuming. Don't assume that CMS knows your business. Don't assume that CMS is not commingling your business with a telesales agency, for example. So we want to be specific in when we are commenting. This is how I do business. I am meeting with my clients one-on-one. I'm using the tools such as Sunfire and Connecture to go through and make sure that my clients have the best possible plans, because I put in all their prescription drugs and I make sure that their doctors and specialists and hospitals are all in network. And I make sure what's important to my clients and what is in the plan that I am selecting for my client, right? So out-of-pockets and co-pays and extra benefits such as dental and vision and hearing and over-the-counter benefits, gym memberships, whatever the case may be, that's important when I'm meeting with my client, talking with them one-on-one. That is the plan I am putting them in, right? So the page on our website, which I'm going to show again, is going to give you, again, a little bit of an idea of how you should comment, right? The specific information you should be putting out there, because you do want to be specific and you do want to articulate the nuances of your business and how you are different from a call center. Because I'm telling you, we get lumped in when you're talking about the independent agents with all these other channels out there. We've seen it with the Joe Namath commercials when they tried to do a lot of stuff with these proposed rules in previous years, and we've had some impacts like the call recording, right? So the marketing stuff we've seen last year and all the hoops you got to jump through to try and get anything approved, right? That's us getting lumped in with some of these other channels. So we want to make sure we're commenting. We want to make sure how we comment is the right way. And the page does give some really good guidance on how to do that. All right. So all the services you would lose, you want to talk about your agencies and your FMOs, you got to think about all those different fees that now would be on you. And what CMS has done is they said, okay, they have this weird calculation in that document that's out there, the one I mentioned, but all the light reading, the 486 pages, and in there they talk about how they came to this $31. So anyway, they're saying $31 a year up and above the fair market value, which is the normal commissions that an agent gets when they write in Medicare Advantage, for example, is supposed to take on all these different costs. And I'm here to tell you, I've been doing this for a long time. I was doing this when it was MedSub, MedAdvantage, and PDP was not even an option out there. And $31 is just not going to cut it, right? For all this support and services and training, and think about things, compliance. Imagine if you get a complaint, who's helping you with your complaint? Imagine if new plans come out, who's helping you navigate the new plans? All these technologies that are out there like the connectors and Sunfire? What are the costs of those? Even things such as licensing fees, right? We haven't thought about that. Imagine if a carrier could not pay for your resident state licensing fees any longer, if that was sort of considered, an admin fee up and above the fair market value, which is what's being lumped into there right now. How many states do you do business in? How many carriers? Would this really consolidate the amount of companies that you're doing business with, as opposed to saying, well, I can, offer, 15, 20 carriers because I have all this technology and all this support and all this training. Would I have to narrow that down to maybe 4 carriers, right? Because that's where I would be at that point without all those other support services. Oh, sorry about that, jumped the wrong way. So here's those impacts, the agents, and we have this on that page. So licensing and appointment fees, CRMs like an agency block, and of course there's others. Are you getting reimbursed for any of those types of services? Quoting and enrollment tools like Connecture, like Sunfire, if you're using My Medicare Bot. What even like something like a CSG, right? CSG was out there doing the med subquotes for many years now. Also jumped into some of the other arenas like the Advantages and whatnot. Lead systems and programs that you're being offered through your agencies, through your FMOs that are you're working with. Call recording systems, right? What does that cost? If you're doing a lot of call recording, if you don't understand the cost of it, it's because probably right now you're not paying it, right? But those costs are going to be put on you. Any discounts on E&O and CEs? How about AHIP discounts? You get a $50 discount from a lot of carriers out there and some of your FMOs as well. Back office support, if you're getting support from your agency or FMO, what if they weren't there to take your calls on commission questions, on policyholder needs, contracting services, on compliance types of services? What if you're an agency? Would you be able to develop your own policies and procedures each and every year, developing compliance plans, dealing with any type of complaints that are out there? These are all things to think about that are going to be affected by this rule if it goes into effect right now. So it is really important that we're all putting our best foot forward and making comments out there. There comes a time when we all have to speak up. We can't rely on somebody else is going to speak up for us. And this is one of those times where it's you as an agent, where it's myself as an agent and member of an FMO organization that have to have our voice heard. And we have to comment, and we have to make sure that we're articulating the nuances of our business and how this will impact not only our businesses, but the end user, the consumer, at the end of the day. So it's really important for us to speak up here. All right, a little background on where we are with Medicare Advantage just in general. Right now, the average Medicare beneficiary can choose from 43 Medicare Advantage plans. Think about that. Imagine if you weren't able to accurately go through and be organized enough to explain all the different plans and benefits using some of these technology platforms out there. And I got a little quote up here, which I thought was interesting. NABIP did a survey this year, and they reported that 60% of the agents out there said that they got availability and knowledge about regional plans through an FMO. So all these plans out there are not just the national ones, right? We're not just talking about United Healthcare and Aetna and Humana and some of the bigger national players. We're talking about some of those regional carriers out there, the Devoted of the world, the Health First of the world, the IBCs and of the world, right? Some of these regional players out there, Alignment, Select Health. We can go through naming a bunch of those. If you didn't have an FMO making you aware of all these different plans in all these different states and making sure that you were training and making sure you had the tools and technology to know the nuanced differences in all these plans, how would it affect your business, right? We always go back to how we're utilizing all of the opportunities we have now and what the trickle-down effect would be if admin fees were removed as what is being suggested in this 2025 CMS proposed rule today. And one of the things being proposed in that 486 pages is that the smaller regional carriers, and a lot of it's coming from them, right? They're sort of, barking a little bit. They're getting in the ear of their government regulators and their House of Representatives and congressmen and saying, hey, listen, these big companies are throwing in extra dollars, and that's why they're getting more business than us, and they're being listened to right now. It's a little bit scary because when you look at the actual data, and this is data from March 22 to March 23, sort of the OEP to OEP sort of time frame from last year, and you can see some of the larger carriers, the national footprint carriers like United Healthcare and Humana, they had growth, right? 12.7% United Healthcare, 10.1% from Humana. But look at some of the regional carriers out there. Devoted Health, 72.5%. Health First, which is really just a New York specific company, 10.6%. HCSC, those are Blue Cross Blue Shield in about five states, which include states like Oklahoma and Texas and New Mexico and Illinois, and those are ones that you may not have heard of. You're not doing business in those states, but look at their growth, 37.4%. So the data just doesn't equal what the small carriers are saying. The small carriers that are putting out competitive plans are getting market share, are getting growth, sometimes even greater than the larger companies out there. And it's because of the tools, technologies that are being offered through agencies and FMO that allow our agents, the independent agents that are meeting with individuals that are putting in prescriptions and looking at things like networks and are putting their beneficiaries, their clients, in the most appropriate plan. And if that most appropriate plan is a regional plan, that's what's being sold. If the most appropriate plan is one of the national names, that's what's being worked with the client. Let's just be honest. It's not the company that's putting out more dollars. I mean, it's nice to think that would be the case if you're a small company out there, but the small companies that are putting out the better plans are getting market share, and that's just the reality of it. All right, NABIP, our good friends, have a great advocacy. They're really our lobbyists, right, for independent agents, independent agencies, the Medicare beneficiaries. When CMS and other government regulators in their ivory towers come out and they start putting out some of these regulations, one of the things that NABIP does is they go back to them and they say, well, this is the impact of what you're saying will do on the entire industry, right? So that's where these comments are really important that all of us need to put out there. NABIP's fighting for us. They're in the trenches right now. They're fighting the good fight when it comes to this. It's hard to think that they are going to get this done away with completely, but we love them to maybe get some of it pulled back. Obviously, this goes through the way it is. It's going to have a huge trickle-down effect on all of our business, and we just don't want that to happen. I'm also going to jump over to, if I could, our website real quick here. This is our pfsinsurance.com website, our 2025 proposed rule page. A lot of good information on here. Some of that impact to agents. You want to read the actual 486 pages. Here you go. You want to contact the senator in your area. You want to know how to do that. Here you go. You want to contact a member of your House of Representatives for your area. Here you go. That information is all there. So here's some background. Remember, I said we bulleted some of this stuff for you, make it a little bit easier to read. You want to comment. Here's how you comment. Click on that. It'll go right to the comment page specifically for the 2025 proposed rule. Here's how you comment right on that page. This FAQ is a great one, talks a little bit about the rule, but it breaks down a lot of the information versus reading that 486 pages. That's on our page as well. That's on the cms.gov page. So this is a lot of good information on our website. If you go to pfsinsurance.com, right on our home page, you can see how to get to the rule. You can also get to the rule by clicking here. We make it easy and obvious on how to do that. You can go through all this information. You can ask questions of us. You can also reach us at this 800-772-6881. You can see that's our telephone number. You can email us. Those of you already working with Pinnacle Financial Services, you might have a direct marketing contact here in our office. Reach out to them directly. We want to make sure that we're all on top of this. We're all making sure that our voices are being heard. Remember, this is one of those moments where we can't just rely on somebody else speaking for us. We all have to take that into account and do our share, even if it's just a small portion of that. Joining NABIP, great idea. If you haven't joined your local NABIP, they do a lot of great stuff for us as an industry. So you should also consider doing that as well. NABIP is that NABIP.org. Again, NABIP.org. And you go to there, they have a whole page on their advocacy as well. They have a lot of Medicare content on this site also. I'm going to end it here today. I tried to keep this quick. I want to make sure you have all the information, how to get all the information, how to comment, a little background on where we are, and certainly some information on where we do not want to end up after this proposed rule goes into effect. So that's where we all need to take action sooner than later. Again, thank you everybody for your time today. I'm going to end it. Have a great rest of your day, a great rest of AEP, and we will talk soon. Thank you again.